Something that happened while we were in our Disney trip. I've hinted about how we had to switch hotels unexpectedly, and we wanted to share in case this happens to you. We were told that it doesn't happen too often, but we wanted to share this with you so that way you could be prepared if it ever happens to you. So first we thought Sophie rubbed up against the plant. Here's our sign. And the reason why we thought she rubbed up against the plant is because the marks were going right down her arm, almost like in a straight line. But did she rub up against the plant? No. Then, wait a second. Then we thought maybe she was allergic to a new food because she was trying some new foods. And there's our allergic to that. And we thought maybe she was breaking out in something because she was allergic. Was she allergic to new foods? No. Let's break into some more footage of what it looks like and maybe we can get a better idea of what it is. Let me see your face.
My hand. I got them on almost every knuckle.
Yep.
Got them on
this
this knuckle.
Look at me.
Some of those are pimples. It's hard to know the difference.
Yeah, but you weren't broken out before we got here. So that.
My toes, the ones on my toes are really annoying.
Then we got the phone call, and oh my gosh, what ended it up being? Bed bugs.
Bed bugs at the Caribbean Beach Resort.
Preferred room bed bugs. They say it's like a very small percentage that this happens. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Yes. And the way we found out is we, here, I'm gonna come up. Okay, so the way it unfolded was we ended up, because every day she kept getting more and more bit, and then we noticed that Avery had a couple bites. I might have had one or two. Did you have any in the beginning?
No, not in the beginning.
None. So we were like, alright, every morning she wakes up covered with even more dots, and the day that it ended up was she had it on her face too, all over her face. So we were going to Epcot that morning, and we ended up going to the first aid, and they were like, well, we don't know, and they were just saying that bed bug bites look like a lot of other things too. So we were like, all right, well, can we Google them? So we made the first aid look up bed bug bites, and it was like dead on. So they were like, okay, we think that might be what it is.
Well, the giveaway was the line going up Sophie's
arm. Down. It was like a perfect line.
Sometimes they'll leave a row of bites in a line.
It's like they bite, they walk a few steps, they bite, they walk a few steps, they bite, they walk a few steps. That's basically what the telltale is. And she had a perfect one going down her arm. And that's why we thought she rubbed up against the plant, because you know they have the long plants, so we thought she rubbed up against it and it just like scratched her, irritated her. That was our first thing.
We didn't know what bed bugs looked like.
We have no clue.
So we did not discover it until halfway through the trip, which we go there for 2 weeks.
Yep.
So it was pretty much Saturday before it dawned on us that it could possibly be bed bugs, because
Yeah, it was like a whole week.
Yeah, and so that's why when we went to the first aid, we thought that they would know better. Maybe they would
Yeah,
they'll be able to see it and say, okay, definitely bed bugs. But
right.
the possibility was there, so they had the room checked.
Yeah, they called the hotel directly.
They called the hotel directly right away, and they send an inspection team into the room to check out the test for bed bugs right away.
Yeah.
So we were able to.
Well, they gave us two options. Didn't they tell us to just stay at Epcot?
We can stay at Epcot and enjoy ourselves, and they'll get back to us and call us.
Yeah.
Or we could head back to the room.
Right, and then wait for the answer there.
Yeah, but we were in Epcot, so we were just...
We had our fast passes too.
Yeah, so we were just hanging around in Mexico and whatnot. And it only took them 45 minutes.
Yeah, 45 minutes, room tested positive.
They called me and on my cell phone, and they said it was positive for bed bugs.
Yeah.
And then they had to take over and pretty much, you know, they immediately they were very nice to deal with. They immediately offered us some concessions. You know, they offered us money for clothing.
Yeah.
Started off with $200 each to go and get new clothes.
Because anything that has cloth is basically infested. So
they had to strip down the room. They had to immediately take everything to get washed and treated for bed bugs right away.
So there was 2 bags, right? One bag was all cloth material stuff. So they bagged those, like I think, like the yellow bag, I think is what they called it, I think. And then the non cloth material stuff was in another colored bag. And they have someone go in the room and totally strip the entire room. So they pack up all your belongings. They don't want you to go in the room at all. So they go in and they pack up all your belongings. So they packed up all this stuff. Charlie wanted to go in and make sure that they didn't miss anything. They were very hesitant to let you go in, but they did, and we did find a plug that they missed, right?
Yes.
So I would advise that.
We had a lot of electronics. We had computers, we had tablets, we had cell phones, we had chargers everywhere.
Everywhere.
So
every plug you go.
I wanted to go into the room and make sure that everything got it. Luckily we did, because one of the charging adapters was still plugged into the wall behind the phone.
Yeah.
Where they have that little cabinet. So it was kind of behind there, and so we were able to catch that. They didn't miss anything else, which was good. They even got into the safe. They took everything out of the safe.
Yep.
And pretty much they bagged everything, and they had it ready. Obviously, the stuff that wasn't being treated was like computers. Anything that didn't need to be treated was separate.
Yeah.
But they were going to be in charge of moving everything to the next room where we ended up.
Right. So yeah, go ahead. So then they had to figure out where they're going to move us. They were more than willing to move us into another Caribbean beach room, but we just didn't feel comfortable with that. On top of it, not only did they pack up all our stuff, but the clothes that we were wearing currently is still labeled as infested.
Still had to be treated.
So
after we changed into either new clothes that we bought or the clothes that were already treated.
Right. So and we didn't actually have time at that point to go out and buy any clothes because we were at the hotel trying to figure it out. So long story short, we ended up being moved to to the Animal Kingdom Lodge, and that's why the rest of the hotel videos you'll see will be us at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. And basically they just call. They call like sister hotels first.
Yeah, they call
and then
everything,
they branch out.
You know, and then they try to hook up. There's an initial problem with them finding anything but it was Pop Century or the Art of Animation Resort, which was definitely a downgrade from where we were, and we were like, you got to be kidding me.
Right.
So we actually ended up doing some research ourselves online, and that's where Stacy found out that there was openings at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. And for some reason, because of some computer glitch, it wasn't showing.
Right, they were doing renovations.
They were doing renovations that had been canceled.
Right.
So, but their computers didn't show it was canceled, so they weren't able to. But once we found that, they were very, very nice about it. They moved us over to the Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Yes, they pack everything up.
Yeah.
They ship it. You don't have to worry about any of that.
We got a great room with a balcony and bunk beds, and they were very, very, very nice about it.
Yes, yes.
And we also didn't have to spend the money that they gave us for clothing on clothes, because we had just done all our laundry the day before. We had very limited packing space for the return trip.
Right.
We didn't want to bring a bunch of clothes home.
Right, and we like all our clothes.
Yeah,
because we buy them special online. We have like all these type of things that you can't just buy anywhere. So yeah, so we didn't want to replace it with all Disney clothes.
So they let us keep that credit as a charge back to the room.
Right.
So that ended up saving $800 off of that.
Right.
But on top of that, they gave us another $1,500.
They gave us four free nights stay.
4 free nights for the Caribbean. They 4 free nights at the Caribbean beach rate that we were charged.
And the reason why it was only 4 versus the entire week is because we didn't start noticing bites until 4 days in. So they felt that the first 3 days, you know, I don't know why they didn't give us the full time, but anyways, they only gave us 4 of the 7 nights free. And then we got the upgrade to the Animal Kingdom with no cost, so that's why we didn't really put a big stink about it. And then the other thing that they gave us was some free fast passes, 2 a day.
Yeah, they gave us.
I think they gave us.
There was 4 of us, so they gave us 2 fast passes free each per day, on top of the other fast passes that we already had booked ourselves.
Right.
So that was
helped.
That was very helpful.
Yeah.
And you're assigned a special team. Once bed bugs happen to you in your room, you're assigned a crew or whatever they...
It's a special, it's like a manager, it's a uppity-up manager at that particular hotel.
It's like a special one-on-one relationship manager to make sure the rest of your trip goes awesome.
Right, so you get their card with their cell phone, and you can call them directly.
Their direct number, anything you want, anything you need, you go directly to these people instead of your hotel.
Right.
And they're higher up than anyone at your hotel.
Yeah.
So they are the people that make things happen.
Right, so we got, go ahead, you can. Right, so we got a special person at the Caribbean beach while we were there, and they were dealing with us. And then as soon as we transferred over to the Animal Kingdom, we got a new person. We got a new person geared specifically for the Animal Kingdom. So, and he was super nice too, because basically he inherited us over. And then the other thing that they do is they look up who was in our room prior to us, and then they contact them to find out if they have had an issue with the bed bugs, and if not, they contact the people before, and they try to actually figure out where they came from as well. And then also the other thing is when we did transfer into the Animal Kingdom, before they even let us in the room, they test our room. They
pre-inspect in the next room for bed bugs to make sure that you're not getting into another room
with it.
Even if it's very low chance of that happening.
Right.
They want to make sure that you're not
the rest of the stay is great. Yeah. So that is really good. And then the other thing also to note is that, which we found out, because after a few days being in the Animal Kingdom Lodge, Charlie started breaking out with some of the bites. So we called them and told them that now he's breaking out. So they came back they came into the Animal Kingdom Lodge, retested it even though it was a negative originally, and it came back negative. And what we discovered was that
upon researching myself, going on to Google and doing some research, bed bugs can show up to 14 days after being initially bitten on some people.
Right.
Obviously, my daughter reacts really, really quickly because she started breaking out within a day or two.
Yeah. Every morning it was more.
I didn't get covered with bed bites until day 8.
Right.
And then they started coming up, and we were like, because we were freaked out that their second room had bed bugs.
Right. That maybe
I started having a bunch of bites on me.
Plus, we also, when we went into the new room, we were wearing the so-called infested clothes because we did not receive any new clothes at that time. So we didn't know if maybe some of them dropped off of our clothes and got into the room, and then now 3 days later he's being bit. But yeah, it came back negative, and that was great. So that's all new as well. So that was our experience. But I do want to show you the clothes that they gave us in the meantime, because we had to switch clothes to get our clothes also treated as well. If you found this video informative, Charlie's the lighting person, And if you want to avoid the situation happening to you, what we're going to do in the future is when I make my reservation, I'm going to tell them that we had a former bed bug victim, and that we would like our room tested before we even arrive. That way you know your room is clean and you don't have to worry about it for the whole trip and it disrupting it.
We're not sure if they're going to do that. It might be too expensive to do that, especially if everyone starts requesting that every day. It might not be worth it, but we're going to try that.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask. Yeah.
Since we've had this trip and since it's happened to us, I think they probably will provide that service for us.
I think so, because they're not going to want us to have another bad experience. So you could probably always say that you had a family member that experienced this and that you don't want it to happen to you. And I'm sure they will accommodate. I think they would rather, it'd probably be cheaper for them to check the room than to dish out $1,900 or whatever it is that ended up for like us.
And that was a moderate hotel.
Yes, that was a moderate. Can you imagine?
That was moderate at the Caribbean Beach.
Yeah.
You know, if it was at the boardwalk or Floridian, something like that,
Can you imagine?
You're talking big bucks.
Big bucks. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helps you for future trips. And
if you've had similar experiences, let us know.
Yes, comment.
If you think that we could have gotten a lot more out of it, or we were lucky, we thought we were treated fairly.
Yeah, we didn't want to take advantage.
People. We did not like taking advantage of anything. We just wanted, we thought we were compensated fairly, and that's all we could ask for.
Right.
So, but if you have any other comments or anything that we might have missed, please let us know in the comments.
Yes.
And please like and share if you like this video.
And subscribe.
And subscribe.
Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.